Hi, I'm Patricia Greenberg. Well, I have a very special guest today, Judy Katz. She is a book collaborator, a ghostwriter, publisher, and marketer. And along with obtaining literary agents and publishers for her authors, she helps promote books to serve them as the ultimate reputation building tool. Welcome, Judy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Patricia. I'm
Now,
delighted to be here.
that just sounds like something people do, but I am so thrilled to have you here because I want to tell your story how at 84 years old, you're still living your dream life. Tell us
100%.
about it. I'm sorry?
100%.
Yes.
The road is right, the yellow brick road is
Yes.
right in front of me.
So tell us, you do so much. I really want to ask you how at an older age, you found your true calling.
I did. So it was 95 degrees in the shade in August, about 18 years ago. And I had 14 people working for me in my big PR firm in Midtown. And I was commuting to my 3-bedroom, 3-bath, beautifully terraced apartment that was sitting empty all day. And I was tired of being everyone's Jewish mother.
Yeah.
Everyone had a drama every day. And I wasn't doing what I love. My passion is writing. So I sat in my apartment and I thought, what can I do that I don't need a team around me? Although it's easy to build up a team.
Yes.
And I do have some great people I work with. But what can I do here? Get well paid for it and be writing. And so I thought of ghostwriting, which right now it's very much more common than it used to be. But at that point, I went to one of my biggest clients who had a Wall Street firm, and I said, you need a book. And she said, why? And I said, because it's the ultimate marketing tool. And her business skyrocketed having that book. Because not necessarily from selling a lot of copies, and I'll tell you what I tell people about that in a minute, but because we wrote a cover letter, a powerful cover letter, and sent it to the CEOs of her target audiences, and the phone never stopped ringing.
Yeah.
And a lot of my clients have made millions, but not because they sold so many books. It's not about being a New York Times bestseller. It's how do you use it? So what I say to people from the get-go is, I can't be responsible for how many books sell. That is, of course, we'll have a great book, but that's the universe at work. That's marketing to some extent. It's a lot of intangibles. But if you tell me what you want this book to do for you, always make it happen. We'll always make it happen. So some people want a global reputation. Some people want higher paying clients, most people. Some people want, just like the Holocaust book that I did, Angel of the Ghetto. He wanted to tell a story that he had never told anybody. And this is a man who came here after losing his entire family, and he was the angel of the Bialystok Ghetto. Came here with $10 in his pocket and built $100 million business in New York. So it's an incredible story. This wasn't about selling a lot of books, but it did become a documentary. So it depends on what people want the book to do for them. Some just want to tell a story that can be a legacy for their families for generations. And other people want to use it to build their book and their reputations. I also work on what I call romana plays, meaning it's a true story told in fiction. That's to keep certain guilty people from being upset or suing you. So a lot of those kind of books are bestsellers, because if you see a streaming video, movies, they're always based on a true story. So I love doing that. And I've done a few of those. I'm working on several books now. I love what I do.
That's absolutely amazing. And it's so the process is that someone will come to you with a book or a story that's written, and you will take over and turn it into a publishable product?
No. They come to me with an idea in their head.
Oh.
And a blank slate.
Ah.
If people come with a whole manuscript, I do master edit it and I do
Okay.
make it publishable and I do get them an agent and I do get them a publisher, or we put it on, I go through the whole self-publishing thing and then we market it. So yes, I do that. But most of my 50 something, over 50 books have been people who are not writers, or they're good writers, but they're very, very busy.
Yeah.
And they need somebody to be able to tell their story in their voice. And I've been teenagers, I've been men, I've been older people, I've been everybody, and it's always in their voice. That's I guess, my particular gift. So would you like me to tell you the process of how it
Yes.
works?
No, this is fascinating. Absolutely.
Okay. So
Yes.
somebody comes to me and they say, I want to write a book. And I say, okay, let's talk for a while. What kind of book do you want to write? And after I hear them out for half an hour or so, I know that's not the book they should write. So that's another gift from the universe. And I tell them, look, people love stories. And we're a social animal. And we love to hear other people's stories and get permission and get inspiration. But very often people, Patricia, are too close to their own lives to know the life lessons that they should tell and who their true audiences are. People often say, oh, my audience is everybody. No, it isn't. So I tell them the book they should write. I even give them a title and a subtitle, which often winds up to be the final title. And they agree. And then I do a writer for hire agreement. And that writer for hire agreement is a contract. And it spells out that all the rights are theirs, ancillary rights, foreign rights, movie rights, theirs. I am the writer for hire. And then it goes through the timeline. The process is you have to give me at least an hour, 1 hour a week, even 2, that would be great.
Yeah.
And then if you give me more than 1 hour, we can have the book done faster.
Yeah.
But I do a lot of research. I see what other books are anything like it. I see who that person is in the world. And then I ask some very pointed questions and I tape it. And I do that 8 or 10 or 15 times and I have their whole story in their words. And then I take that and I turn that into a table of contents, which can be, organic. It can move around, but these are the chapters. This is a summary of what's in each chapter. So now we have a roadmap for the whole book. And that is for the first payment. So that takes about 2 months.
Okay.
And after that, there's another payment. So it's not like you pay everything right away. Oh, sure, I could just take the money and go to Aruba, but I don't.
Yeah.
And then they get 3 chapters, or if it's only 12 chapters, 2 chapters, but then they get the chapters, they look it over, and within a week or 2, they give me their feedback. And at the very end of the process, I do a master edit that makes it publishable. And then we, if they want to self-publish because they don't want to wait 2 years to get a book out with traditional publishing, then we do that. And I get them a great cover. I get them the interior design, everything that has to go on Amazon. I write up everything. PR is an added project, but very often, they retain me for that as well. Or they want an agent. And so I have agents I know, and some I don't know, but I know how to get to them. And we find the agents, I do a lot of research, who like your kind of book. And then it goes out to publishers, or sometimes I take it to independent publishers where you don't need an agent. And so I deal with, I would say, 3 kinds of people. One is they're thinking about writing a book. They haven't put one word down, but they come to me, help me get it out of my head. I finally want to write this book. I've been thinking about, talking to people about, people telling me I should write a book. Help me. So that's one. One is people who have written something and now they're stuck. They just have writer's block. They don't, I put down what I thought was important, but I don't know where to take it from here, but I do want to finish a book. And then we have people who have published a book and it's on Amazon, or it was with the publisher and nobody is buying it. Little rush in the beginning. And it's dead. And they come to me. I spent 2, 3, 5 years, whatever it is, writing this book. I put it out there and it's just, dead in the water. What do I do? And I say, what did you do to market it? And they say, market? I say, would you open a retail store? Would you spend money renovating the space? And then on opening day, not advertise and just pray that people come in? So most people don't understand that books are a business.
Right.
It's great to have, well-written, compelling book, but now you've got to tell the world. It's like having the greatest anything, you have to let people know that it's there. It's called advertising,
Yes.
promotion, marketing, So I'm kind of a one-stop shop, honestly, because I do all of that if people want it.
Judy, that's fantastic. And as a published author, I hear you, and it's I like you, I've had traditional publishing, self-publishing, and hybrid publishing. I've done all of the above. I have 5 books, and to let people know that go get the help, because you can spend 10 years spinning your wheels when you could just go and actually get advisement. And the other thing I like to see is what, the next thing I want to go into is that so many people I know over the age of 65 are writing their first book, novels, short stories, memoirs. Yes. What do you say to the older author who might be insecure about submitting their work to you or to a publisher?
Well, I do something called developmental consulting. So I do suggest that people talk to me about their project, and I give them, 50 years of great advice, and then they can just take it. I charge $500 for that. It's 2 full hours. And the other thing is I always tell people, you have to have a thick skin to work with me and talk to me, because I'm going to tell you the truth. I just am. There are 2 million books published every year. And most of them are like a slice of ham between 2 pieces of white bread, like not tasty, not nutritious, bad books. Yeah. So if you want to do a really good book, everything in life takes a team. We all need help. We all need experts, and I think it's wonderful if you want to write a book, because one of the reasons that people write a book, Patricia, is, believe it or not, to kind of explain themselves to themselves. We're so close to our own lives, when you see it down on paper, that's who I am. That's what happened to me. So that part is really wonderful. So even if it doesn't sell, and most self-published books sell 200 copies, that's like amazing. That it's so low, and those people are very happy. Who are those 200 people that bought their books? Their cousins, their relatives, their family, and their close friends. Right. And that's great. It's great, but that's not who I am. I'm about commercial success. If that's what you want, and using it as a tool.
I'm curious about what topics are hot now, and should we aspire to follow the trends?
I'm not a trend follower, because I believe that if you have a good story, and look, there are no original stories. That ended with Shakespeare. Yeah. I was a Shakespeare scholar at UC Berkeley, so I can tell you everything you can imagine. But we need reminders. We need inspiration. So, whatever it is. One of the things that does do really well, I would call it, going from the phoenix up. Because if you have a lot of trauma in your life, people can relate to that. Mm-hmm. People can relate to how you fell down and stood up again. So, I'm doing several books. I have done several books of people who had shocking trauma in their lives and came back unexpectedly with such power and strength that you can't not come back from reading that book feeling empowered, feeling encouraged, feeling, hey, my life isn't that bad. And if he or she could do that, so can I. So, so that's it. And you want me to talk a little bit about costs?
Yeah, we'll get to that. I
Okay.
want to talk more about, personally, I want to know if there's a market for stories about older adults.
What about stories about older adults?
There's a trend now, obviously, anti-aging and ageism and all this are hot topics in the market. And a lot of people are feeling that, again, I was asking you about the older writers, somebody who's
Right, right, right,
65
right.
and wants
You
to
mean
get their
would those
story out.
books do well?
Yeah, is there a market for that right now?
There's a huge market. And the reason there is because the boomers are the largest segment of the population.
Mm-hmm.
And they are, I don't want to use the word desperate, but I'll say eager
Yeah.
for any instructive ways to stay healthy, to stay vibrant, to stay sexy, to stay desirable, to stay relevant,
Mm-hmm.
to stay productive, you know?
So that's more in the self-help category, which is a lot of what I do. But I'm talking
Inspiration,
about
self-help.
novels and stories and things
Yes.
about romance, about finding love over 65. These kinds of stories. How are those trending?
Yeah, because if you go on Netflix right now, you will
Yeah.
see any of those. There are a number of them that have done really well about older people finding each other,
Yes. Yes.
you know? And when I was 75, I met a billionaire who was 98. My rabbi came to me and he said, would you date a man who's 98? And I said, a 98-year-old wants to date? He said, no, he wants to get married again. And then I met the most extraordinary human being and had 4 months of a new world.
Wow.
We flew all over
Wow.
the place. He had homes all over. But it wasn't just that. It was that he was so brilliant. He was so
Yeah.
beautiful. I loved him so much. And he died at his villa with me in the Dominican Republic, 7 weeks shy of his 99th birthday. He
Wow.
almost made it to 100. But I met him when I was 75.
Right.
So, and I know several women now who have met men. I'm not, I've written a lot about online dating and why it's fraught. And there are many other ways to meet people. So I prefer the other ways.
Yes.
But it's a problem because, as you said, the communities, the ability to be with multi-generational friends and family. So you're not getting the referrals. I want you to meet so-and-so, or,
Yes. Yeah.
you go to a temple or a church and you meet people, but there are ways to get out there and show people who you are other than some of these match.com kind of things, or even
Judy,
dating.
I'm so glad you're sharing that because I always say to people is don't put an age on it. Put it, you could have like in your case, you could have a fabulous 5 years or 1 year or 6 months with someone.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful in your lifetime. That's a beautiful, beautiful experience as opposed to years and years of struggling and being lonely. That makes up for it so much. Judy, I hear so
Yeah.
much conflicting information about publishing, the state of publishing, telling your story. Memoirs are very big right now. People don't want to go through that painful process of publishing.
Yeah, they are.
So what you're doing is it's a godsend to have somebody to help you through that. As it stands now, is it better to self-publish and get it out quickly, or is it better to get to a publisher so you have the support of traditional publishing? What's your take on that?
That's a really good question. And I have to say that it depends very much on what your objective, your goal,
Right.
So what is your purpose with this book? That's why I asked people right away, what do you want this book to do for you? So some people are willing to wait the year and a half, 2 years to get an agent, to get a publisher. They're not giving big advances, if you're not Prince Harry, or you don't have big followings. So some people don't mind waiting because it's not a timely story.
Right.
And so we go for traditional publishing. many of the people, the majority, have thought about having a book for so long that by the time they come to me, they want it yesterday. They
Yeah.
don't want to wait. They
Yeah.
want 6 months, 8 months, okay, a year, but let's
Yeah.
get it out there and let me start using it. And so we do. And when I do the PR part of it, I get people in front of big audiences with bulk sales. I get them on influencer podcasts like yours, and on traditional media, interviews. So I am a little bit skeptical about hybrids. I know of a good one and a lot that aren't good. So I hope and I expect that you did a lot of research and found a good one, but people have to be really careful because in the end, you're going to be doing the promotion yourself.
Absolutely.
So you can find somebody, whether it's me or somebody else, who can master edit, make sure it's all right, get a great cover designer. They're inexpensive people who are brilliant, especially on Fiverr, Fiverr. They are wonderful. A lot of them are young, brilliantly talented, and very inexpensive.
It's amazing.
Unlike me.
Judy, you're busier than most people I know half your age.
I am.
Yeah. Tell us what your life is like now. Tell us about how you, how do you keep the energy level up?
I'll tell you a fun story. A fun fact about me is that I sold my co-op and I moved 7 blocks down to West End Avenue and West 63rd Street into a building that has a pool.
Oh.
And I go to the pool and I don't know how to swim. So I got a swim instructor and I learned how to swim at 83.
Wow.
I'm swimming. I didn't know you're supposed to go 1, 2, 3, turn your head and all that kind of stuff. But I'm really enjoying it. So that, and then they have a huge health club in the building. So I hired a personal trainer once a week and she puts me through my paces. So I do that. And then I go to the JCC, Jewish Community Center, which is a mile away. So I walk 10,000 steps. And 3 times a week I do exercise with a whole bunch of other older women and a few older men. And I just, I go to a lot of things in the city. I could be out every night of the week. This is why when my beloved brother Steve begged me really to move to Arlington, Texas, where he lives in a beautiful home with our whole family. They're all in Dallas and Arlington.
Okay.
My thought was, forgive me if you're hearing this, Steve, shoot me in the head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't drive. Everything is, 10 miles down the road.
Right.
Here, I go downstairs. There's a supermarket in my building. Everything is Lincoln Center's down the block. Everything that you could want in the whole world is within a short walking distance, as opposed, and especially someone who doesn't drive, as opposed to get in the car, get out of the car. If I walk 200 steps when I'm there, it's a lot.
Yeah.
As opposed to 10,000.
Absolutely. So the city is keeping you young. Absolutely.
I think that New York City, Manhattan, in my case, keeps you young. It's a great place to get old, in my opinion. I mean, get older. See, I think that getting older is inevitable, but feeling and acting and being old is a choice.
Yes. It's a wonderful, wonderful way to put it.
Thank you.
Judy, your business, your personal, I'm so looking forward to seeing you in person when we do meet. And you're such an inspiration. I thank you so much for what you're doing. And just real quickly, instead of quoting, you have a special to offer to our listeners.
Yes. Anyone who thinks they might want to write a book and they're not sure what book they should write, I will give you 15, 20 minutes, free consultation, no obligation. Just, you can contact me at Katz, J-K-A-T-Z, Katz Creative @gmail.com.
And we'll put that on the website when we air the show.
Okay, good. And you have my website. So let's talk.
Yeah. Judy, thank you so much for joining us and being the inspiration that you are. And lastly, Judy, I want to ask you, what do you like about getting older?
I feel like I have, I don't want to call it wisdom, but a perspective, a macro perspective instead of the micro. Everything bothers you and everything blows up and everything. Oh my God, the extremes. I just see life, I think, from up here to down there. And that gives me a lot of comfort because everything gets better.
Yeah.
Change is very difficult for us humans. But that gives me a handle. So I don't mind getting older.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful to hear. And I want to thank all of you for listening to my show, Age Well. And please subscribe to my channel, Patricia Greenberg, Age Well, for more engaging discussions about aging well. And for feedback and topic suggestions, you can contact me at www.patriciagreenberg.com. Thank you all for listening. Judy, thank you for being here. It's been wonderful having this conversation with you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.